Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take on. I found this other New York Post article. There's a lot of racist stuff or race-related stuff, I should say, in the New York Post. Why your swiping behavior on dating apps might be racist. Right. Okay. Sure. Everything's racist. Why not this? Right. This is something that's been talked about for a while. The dating apps are trying to go all woke, but there's a problem with that, and we'll get into it. But first, smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books, Wokeness, a novel, Hollywoke, another novel. Links in the description. Also, the Pineys, books 1 through 5, available at Amazon ebook. Kindle Unlimited is also free. Also, I'm on BitChute and Rumble. BitChute, man, I have so many problems uploading the videos on BitChute. If anybody has some suggestions why my videos don't always upload and process, let me know. Now, as a single guy, I am on the dating apps. I mostly consider it nonsense at this point. I mean, all through the Trump era, you had women who would, oh, if you're a Trump supporter, swipe left. And in the beginning of the Trump era, I wasn't a Trump supporter at all. I didn't plan on voting for Trump, but I still didn't like that because it's like I'm putting politics ahead of relationship. Essentially, it's a bad start. It's like, well, I've already got an assignment for you, baby. Don't think this way. Way. That's what it feels like. See, I don't like dating profiles that give me instructions. I don't follow instructions, obviously. It's a bad look. It's a bossy look. I don't like bossy people. Yeah, I don't like bossy people. Don't boss me around. I might date you. I might date you. I might not. Don't boss me around. I'm buying you dinner. What the F? So, the authors of The Dating Divide find that black women face the most racial and sexual discrimination on dating apps. Based on what? Based on what? I mean, it's a dating app. You either get swiped or you don't. You either date or you don't. You either lower your standards or you stay single. I mean, that's the way it is for everybody. But this is yet another thing to conquer and divide us. Like, oh, you're not dating enough people of color. You're not dating enough trans people. There was an article way back how straight men should have sex with trans women because that would somehow straighten them out. It's just insanity. This is just woke nonsense. People have their preferences, and when you're getting down to the sexual preference of people, you're getting down to the biological urges. People are effed up. They've got weird predilections. I don't think mine are that weird. I'm pretty pedantic in that area, I think. I'm a bit high maintenance, but filtering, I mean, it's hard enough to pick people you're attracted to. Now you have to filter through people you aren't attracted to necessarily. Like, look, it's about what you like. And those things are often physical appearances, especially for guys. Now, for women, it's a little different. They're wired differently biologically. Their biology drives them to find a provider. Men are driven by looks because their biology drives them to find someone fertile. Right? So that's why they tend to go for younger women. They tend to go for hotter women. Whereas some women, they're perfectly fine with some old fat guy as long as he can provide for them. The dating divide, race and desire in the era of online romance. Sociologists Jennifer Lundquist, Celeste von Currington, and Ken Hu Lin show how online dating sites exacerbate racial divisions. Yeah, I know when people are looking for a racial argument, they go to Tinder. Yeah, that's why they go there. This is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Continuing, they found that race-related preferences filters on digital dating platforms help foster racist attitudes, especially towards black women. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. There are plenty of women on these sites who only want to date certain people in a certain race. Jewish people, especially Jewish women, they tend to they want to raise their kids Jewish, so that's a consideration for them. You have to be Jewish to date them. And I don't have any problem with that. Date who you want. It was supposed to be about choice. The left used to be about choice. Have all the choices you want. But now they're like, well, this is some sort of back-ass-word way into segregation. That's what it is. The idea of having racial preferences is unacceptable and illegal in any other areas, she added, but it's literally built into the structure of these dating apps. This is Lindquist. Filtering out people based on race is a normal practice on dating apps. Yeah, kinda. But it's not based in racism. It's not based like, well, I hate these people of a certain race, I'm not going to date them. It's what you find attractive. And look, there are some people who are attractive and some people who aren't. And it's very subjective. So to sit there and say, well, I know it's racism, is the height of arrogance. That's what these people are. They're just narcissistic, arrogant a-holes who think they know everything. Oh, we know there's a lot of single black women on these dating apps. Therefore, they are being rejected. That's not true. There's a lot of single black women on the dating apps because there are a lot of single black women. And that's a complicated issue. And I don't think I can really speak on it all that much, but I think we know how society works. There are a lot of single mothers out there. And if you live near an urban area, a lot of them are black. But if you live in a rural area, a lot of them are white. Quite frankly, there are way too many single moms. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. The single moms, I personally, I'm not about single moms. I tend to stay away with women who have children. I don't want to have to raise other people's children. But I'm getting to the age where most women I'm going to date, their kids are grown, so it's not really a huge issue. But it's, you got to filter out people. These people are basically suggesting that there should be a blind dating app where you won't know the race of the person. Well, there's only one way to do that. You don't get to see the person. Yeah, good luck with that app. I won't be on that app. At some point these people are going to say, no, we have to assign you a person. That's the only fair way to do this. We have to assign you a person, in your league. That's what these people are heading for. A 2014 study about dating preferences along racial lines on OkCupid came to a similar conclusion. Black women had a hard time matching on dating apps, as did black and Asian men. Again, it depends on the app. It depends on the area. It depends on, the last girl I met up with was black. So what? That wasn't a factor in my choice. It just wasn't. You just meet people for whatever reason and go about your business. You date, maybe have a relationship, maybe just hook up. That's all it is. These people, it's never enough. They have to insert themselves between you and what you want, because then they get control of you a little bit, and then you have to pay them, or you have to, placate them, and they feel good. Oh, you're placating me. Yeah, it's so good. Oh, well, I'll let you date somebody a little higher up. That's what they want. They're terrible. They're irresponsible, terrible, arrogant a-holes who don't even think for a moment that this could backfire in their face. And it totally would. It totally would. The idea. Yeah, here, look at this picture. The dating divide, race, and the era of online romance. You're just exacerbating people who can't get dates. Maybe they're horrible people. Doesn't matter what race they are. Maybe they don't present well. I see a lot of women on these sites. They sometimes take the worst pictures of themselves. Absolute worst. They take it from down here. They've got double chin going. I met a woman one time from a dating app, and I thought the picture was okay. I was like on the fence, and I thought, she's all right. She's all right looking. I find her attractive. Let me go meet her. Maybe I'll like her more. Well, I got there, and she was gorgeous. I couldn't believe how good looking she was. I was like, I walked right past her at first because I was looking for somebody else, and then she said, "Oh no, it's me." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "You're way better looking than the picture you have online. Way better. Your picture online is terrible." I didn't even recognize you. That was the stark contrast. She took a terrible picture of herself. And some people, a lot of women, they're obsessed with themselves. They take 50 pictures and pick out the one. But a lot of them just aren't. They just, I'll get a date, click, and that's it apparently. But and you can, at the same time, I've met women who were very attractive, and then after talking to them for 10 minutes, I was like, oh no, I cannot date you. I cannot date you. I would never date you. I don't know why I'm here. And I just cut it off and went my merry way. But, it's this idea that we're trying to explain everything. See? And with these woke idiots, everything's explained by race, gender, whiteness, critical race theory, all these things. It's never an explanation that, maybe some of the people in this article, and I don't know them, I'm not disparaging them, but, these people in the article complaining, did they even complain? Or were their words taken out of context? Are they not nice people? Do they have other issues? If you had an issue and you got interviewed by a reporter and you have the issue, are you going to explain it? I mean, it's like that woman who invited, I don't know how many guys, a ridiculous amount of guys, to meet her out in a public space, and it turned into this weird giant audition for her boyfriend, and she made the guys kind of compete. It was pathetic. It's a pathetic display. And this, I think, is a pathetic attempt to just sell a book. Just sell yet another book about race and, and from a bunch of academics who are on the rise now. See, these academics, they'd normally be stuck in some boring university somewhere writing a book, and they wouldn't make it, they make money from the university, and maybe they get their tenure, and they keep teaching their racial nonsense, but nobody would really pay attention to them. But this is a commercial endeavor. And that is like, the academics have sort of like bled in to the commercial endeavors now. The publishers, they love this stuff because they all graduated from college and they all got indoctrinated into this stuff. And now they're like, oh, love it. Oh, we'll help. Sure. Yeah, we love you, professor. I'm gonna publish your book. Nicole and other black daters who have endured racist attitudes while online dating declined to share their full names with the post for privacy reasons. Quote, I'm on these apps hoping to find meaningful relationships. Well, there's your problem. There's your problem right there. These apps aren't for that, most of them. And these guys are treating me like a sex object before extending a proper hello, the Brooklyn resident added. Shocker of shocker. Guys on the internet are horny. Oh no, who knew? We talked to a number of educated black women who were thriving in their careers and looking for comparable partners, Currington told the Post. But there's a disconnect between who they are in real life versus the Jezebel stereotype that they are being subjected to online. No, there's no stereotype. The problem, and this has been well documented, Jordan Peterson goes through it very succinctly in some of his videos. He would counsel very successful women, and the problem with being a very successful woman in your career is you don't date down. Okay, so if you are a housewife and you marry a mechanic, and you don't have a job essentially, and you're just being a housewife. I'm not disparaging housewives, by the way, but you have a deal there that works. Like, he's the provider, you're the housewife. Well, if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and you make $2 million a year, you're not going to date a mechanic. You won't. You're not going to date a guy who makes $100,000 a year. You won't date a guy who makes $500,000 a year. You're going to be looking for a guy who's above you. So That's harder to find, much harder to find. And if you're a person of color and you're looking for another more successful person of color, that tends to be statistically rarer. There's just fewer African Americans in the country. What do you want from me? I didn't invent statistics. So this is no mystery. It's not racism. These women could date whoever they want, but they're not going to date some schlub who works at, Target. She's going to want a guy who's in a Fortune 500 company or whatever. And I think women tend to date way above their pay grade, right? They don't just date a guy who makes comparable money or a little bit more. No, they like to date guys who are like way up there, as high as possible. Because it's biologically driven. And that's tough to shake. Now, are there exceptions? I'm sure you could find one or two. I'm sure you could find a few dozen if you really dug, but they're tough. It's tough. It's tough to be in a relationship. It's even tougher to get one like off of Tinder. Those are the most hilarious bios ever. You go on Tinder and it's like, I'm looking for a relationship. Why are all you guys so horny? Because it's Tinder. That's not what it's for, in my view. The people at Tinder may disagree with that, but let's be honest. Tinder started as a hookup app. It started as Grindr, and then they made Tinder for straight people. So, what? Just don't go on Tinder. I mean, there are plenty of dating apps that iwantogetmarried.com or whatever. Just go on relationship ones. I mean, there are plenty of them out there. But, the idea that some psychologist or sociologist who wrote a book is going to fix dating apps, no, they're going to ruin them. They already started getting them woke. There's Black Lives Matter. I swiped left. If you got Black Lives Matter in your profile, don't worry. There's no chance of us ever dating. Not interested in anybody who bought into that nonsense. Swipe left. Same thing with, I hate Trump supporters. Swipe left. I don't want to hear your politics. I don't even know you. Polite people don't talk about politics in mixed company. That's something you get to eventually. And I get it. You don't want some extremist or whatever, but that's part of the process to get to know people. Don't put it in your bio. Maybe you have it in your discussion or whatever. I know. You get so many offers of discussion. Quite frankly, it's the guys who don't really want to have a discussion with you online, on the phone, endlessly, are the ones you want to target because they're actual guys. Guys don't like to talk. We don't. We like to do stuff, have a purpose. So at the very least, you got to meet. But, in this age of lockdown, good luck. So I just find this hilarious. I had to rant about it because the wokeness will not stop. As we said in the book, read our book before it's banned because nothing escapes Wokistan. And that's where we are.